Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Brandon.
This is Bryce.
Welcome back to Weekly Wrap Up. This is the show where we take books that came out last week, talk about them on Monday to prepare everyone, get everyone excited for new comic book day on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever that is. Great week this week. Yeah. We have an agenda for this show. We never have an agenda for this show, but we do tonight. We are going to be talking about books that came out. I recently took a trip up to Virginia, or down to Virginia. So I'm going to share what I got there, talk about that for a little bit. Then Marcus Toe is going to join us, artist of Excalibur, because that series has ended. And we want to celebrate with him for being a great friend of the show, great artist, putting in a lot of great work. And then after that, we're going to continue to talk about books. And then we're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. For now, let's leave the spoilers to a minimum in the chat or at all, because we're going to do spoilers when we get there.
And we will give plenty of a warning just in case anybody needs to jump out. We'll probably, I know I'll probably give like 2 or 3 warnings, be like, hey, I'm getting ready to spoil this. So, right. And if you're watching the replay on this, you want to include a timestamp as to when we actually start spoilers. So it's like, hey, by
probably
this
time, about 45 minutes into the show, we'll probably be on by then.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we cover all our bases, make sure this incredible movie doesn't get spoiled for anybody, because it was great. We both loved it. So
yeah, I can't believe you're such a great lawyer to say that. You know, that must take some big lawyering. You're a great lawyer, brother.
Dude, I can't believe Tom and Jerry showed up in the third act.
I can't believe we got Shadow before Knuckles. Oh wait, what's going on, Bryce? How was your week today?
Oh man, it's been pretty good. I've been on a Spider-Man kick recently. I watched Spider-Man 2 today. I've seen No Way Home twice. I ordered the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus that comes out first week of January. So I've just been nonstop Spidey this week. I feel like I'm 5 years old again, and I love it.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm in that boat. By the way, if you guys are catching this live, make sure you hit a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new. This is the show live every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're not live any other day of the week except for Creative Corner when that sporadically comes. So if you want to catch us live, interact with us, this is the place to do it, or else I'll see you in the YouTubes or the Instagrams and all that. But yeah, this week was a little hectic. It was busy. I didn't get to read all my books, and this week I had a pretty good list. So I'm definitely excited to do that. Let's say hello to the chat. We got Dave Collects. Yeah. And as always, guys, if you are in the live chat, let us know what you're reading. We always love to hear from you guys. What's going on? JT.
Station JT.
Oh, brother in here. We kind of said hi to you earlier. We got Resby in here. What's going on? We got...
Hey, Resby.
Oh, JT didn't read anything this week, man. JT did not read a single thing.
JT, I had 2 books, so I feel.
But brother says... read Primordial. The issue took a turn. I bet.
We got the big Primordial to come out and trade. I cannot wait.
Yeah, neither can I. We got everyone's favorite Chicago Bears fan. We got Eric in here. Station.
He's a what fan?
Oh, I would not allowed to.
He's a what fan? No, I'm kidding.
Bear down.
I'm kidding.
Hey, you guys almost lost to the Ravens. You guys lost by 1 to or you guys beat the Ravens by 1 point.
Beat the Ravens
with their backup quarterback.
Hey, a win's a win, though. And it was at Baltimore. So
Yep. What's going on? Comic book report? We got Steven Smith in here, who I actually met over the weekend. And Steven, it was his birthday the other day. Happy birthday, Steven. Happy birthday again.
Happy birthday, Steven. Yeah, hopefully I can meet up next. Hopefully I can hang out with y'all next time y'all meet up. Be really cool.
Yes, sir. What is going on to my brother Chet, who has not called me back all day today? How you doing, Chet? Always good to see you guys here. So what did I get when I went to Virginia? I got some back issues. I got some hardcovers that were out of print. So for example, there was this shop that was doing this discount. It was like buy one get the other half off. So I got both hardcovers of Powers volumes 1 and 2. So now I'm gonna be hunting those. Before I left for vacation, I got the Hellfire Gala hardcover. I talked to Marcus about that. And then I got this Daredevil by Charles Soule. Oh, it's a big boy. I got this omnibus.
I might grab that if I can. I know Ultimate Spider-Man kind of took precedent, but that one is definitely high on my to grab list.
Ultimate Spider-Man takes precedent above anything. But Also, because I have been on a spider kick, I got this issue with Spider-Man, which is the origin of Flash Thompson's war stories. So this is like the issue where we found out that he lost his legs in his time in the war. So I really liked this issue, especially if you are a Flash fan or kind of enjoy Flash as a character. Because
because I've been wanting to read some of that stuff.
I've actually read this issue. It's actually a really, really good issue.
Well, what runs it from though? So
it's basically like right after Brand New Day. So
okay.
Not Slot yet, but it's not Slot in my opinion. Everyone else will tell you it's like Slot like right then and there, but I don't think it really is Slot at that point until like later on.
That's fair.
And then I got Ultimate Hawkeye because other member of Comics Kings, Stefan Missing Link, told me to read this. So also he's been talking about it, so I saw it and I had to buy it. Hashtag blame Steph in the comments.
Blame Steph. Yeah, it's Hickman, isn't it?
Yes. It's one of Hickman's earlier works.
Can't go wrong with Hickman.
I got Infinite Crisis, all the issues, 1 through 7. So that takes you through the Blue Beetle appearances.
Nice.
And then I already read this in trade, but I had to go back and get the single issues of Identity Crisis. I'm a huge fan of this book.
I need to read that, actually. It's that and the first volume of the Meltzer Justice League run are on my shelf behind me. So that'll be soon to be read. Blame Steph.
Blame Steph. It's great. I love it. We got Spider-Man: A Moment in Time. This is the negative space cover. I had to get this by John Christopher Tyler, whatever his name is. I really like this book. I really like this cover, and I had to get it.
That's gorgeous.
And then I got Black Panther #1 from the Hudlin run. So back during the Marvel Knights, which I'm excited for this. I've not read this run, so I'm glad to have this. Melvin is really looking forward to the season finale.
Oh, me too.
Man.
Me
Identity
too.
Crisis is so good. Identity Crisis is so trippy. It's like everything you want in the DC world that's like dark and not and not like all Batman related. We got Messiah Complex. This is actually one of my favorite X-Men books. I love Messiah Complex, so I'm really glad I got the trade now. And
isn't that out of print? Because I've been looking for that.
It's out of print. And then last but not least, I got the Secret Invasion hardcover. So I'm a huge fan of this series. I'm definitely looking forward to what they do with it. Hopefully seeing Emilia Clarke as a Abigail Brand. Because I think
that would be dope. Oh my gosh, that would be dope.
It would be. Also, I got a cool Spider-Man mug. So cheers. It's a really good mug. Nice.
Repping the best Spider-Man right here, the PS4 version.
Right. And Melvin has read Brad Meltzer's JLA. That's one of my favorites. I would say if I were to rank JLAs, I would go Grant Morrison, and then I would go Brad Meltzer, and then Snyder, and then Johns. If we're talking. And McDuffie I have not read yet, so I'm not putting McDuffie on a list that I haven't read it.
So I have Meltzer's and Johns. Well, the majority of Johns over on my shelf to read. I'm still missing, I think, volume 5 and then both volumes of Dark Side War, but I have like the beginning.
Right. I have a few of the floppies, and I've read it. I had the volumes, but then I traded them, and I never picked up the book. Oh, thank you, Melvin, for reminding me. I also got this Saga t-shirt, Lying. My mother already loves it because now she like says it to me all the time. She's like, I'll say something. I'm like, yeah, like what happened today? Like I came and she's like, oh, there's this thing. I'm like, I'll do it later. She goes, Lying. And I'm like, I should have never taught you this character.
But everyone gets addicted to Saga in one way or another.
Right. All right. Well, let's get on to the books. Let me start with my pick of the week, and that was Bryce. What do you think my pick of the week was this week?
Well, I saw a little bit of the cover, but I can't tell for sure. Knowing you've been either really high or really low on ASM recently.
That was not my pick of the week. That didn't crack the top 5 this week. I had
Savage Avengers.
Had issues. Yeah, it was Savage Avengers. So Savage Avengers number 27 came out this week. This is by Jerry Dugan, Pat Zurcher. So I have not covered this book on this show in a while because it kind of took a little break. But I read this issue and it was fantastic. I'm loving this series. I'm not saying it's one of my favorite series, but it's been like the best sleeper series, I would say.
I remember reading a little bit of that when it first came out. I need to go back and catch up.
It's so good. Okay, so Cullen Goth went back in time, right? So they're traveling him through time, and he beats Conan in a fight. So Conan is pissed, and Shumagorath is like trapped inside. So they made a deal with Shumagorath to get rid of Cullen Goth. That's the whole point of this, is they want to get rid of Cullen Goth because he's killing a bunch of different Sorcerer Supremes throughout history. So Doctor Strange, Conan, every badass character plus Doctor Strange you see in the Marvel universe is going to be in this book. So you got like Ghost Rider in here. You got Black Knight in here. You got Juggernaut. You got every character that you would want. You got Magic in here. So every character you would want to interact with Conan. Right?
I remember when it was just like Wolverine, Conan, Punisher, and Elektra.
Elektra's in here too. And you know what's awesome about it is it's Elektra in her Daredevil costume.
Oh, no way. That's sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. Dr. Doom is in this, which there was a great line. So they're trying to get rid of Shumagorath, and Conan strikes a deal. So Shumagorath explodes, or Cullen Goth like turns. He had Shumagorath like trapped inside, but then it was like, okay, it flipped because of the deal they made. I'm rocking my birthday suit. Oh no. So anyway, they basically defeat Cullen Goth by awakening Shumagorath, but that doesn't erase him from history because Shumagorath can still go back in time or whatever. So they're sitting. So now Conan's like, now we feast. Dr. Strange's like, yeah, let me go back to New York and make a reservation. I'll text everyone. And Conan says, no, we're going to eat like kings. We're going to Latveria. And Doom is like, he has good taste. He's like, Conan has good taste. And I love that.
He has good taste.
So they're all like, they're in Latveria, their beers and their cheers in and all that. And then Kang and Doom are talking about everything that's going on and how like they still have that issue. So Doctor Strange like shows up in his astral form. He's like, you guys know that I know what's going on. Like someone has to go back and kill him, but I'm not going to go back and do this. It's like, what if you killed baby Thanos? And he's like, yeah, no, we're not doing this.
That's horrible.
He's like, no, I'm not killing an innocent kid. So Conan's like, I'll do it. So he goes back in time, and instead of giving Shumagorath like the sword, like so he can kill him, he kills the guy. He kills his magic professor or his mentor, his master. Right? He slices his neck open, and then he says, "Here you go. Use this sword and train yourself to fight." Rather than to use magic. So that delayed the inevitable for like years to come back in the present. And I was like, that is so smart. I was really impressed. So that twist right there, that Conan just didn't kill him, I was like, that's great. That moment alone just makes it the pick of the week. Pat Zurcher's artwork, I think, is one of the most underrated in Marvel. It's the most underused in Marvel. Like Pat Zurcher takes his time a lot, which is great, but you get rewarded, and he's been really consistent on this book. It's really gritty. It's almost like if I had to pick another artist to do Alien, he would be the one to do it.
I'll have to do Alien?
It's that gritty of a book.
True. Salvador Larroca's kind of started growing on me, though, with that series.
Yeah, nowadays, but I think his colorist bails him out half the time. We're talking now. What's going on? Yep, Savage Avengers getting a lot of love in the chat. So if you guys are not reading Savage Avengers, I honestly think that is one of Marvel's biggest like sleeper books that is gonna have a dope omnibus. Or it's just, I wish it came out in hardcovers too. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But the fact that Jerry Dugan, the writer, has had such a workload in comics, but lately, and then this book is still consistent. You don't see that a lot among writers who have a high volume of work and it's all solid. Like it may not all be the best on the shelf, but you know you're getting a treat every time it comes out. So I'm really, 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 really digging this book, and I hope you guys are too. If not, pick it up, or if you're not reading it, you're not going to start. So go buy the trades, read it on Unlimited, and listen to me.
Based off of what I've heard, it seems like this is where Jerry Dugan is really like, this is the book he cares the most about, it seems.
Right.
Because like X-Men is his most high profile book. But based off of like what you've said, what other people have said, and the few issues that I've read of it, this is like he's putting a lot of thought into this run.
Well, I think this is the most Jerry Dugan book out there because this is the book that gets the less editorial decisions made in it.
This is fair.
Right? So it's like if I'm writing Spectacular Spider-Man versus The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm going to be able to do whatever the hell I want in Spectacular.
Yeah.
Right? Like when Tom Taylor wrote Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, or Chip Zdarsky wrote the Spectacular Spider-Man. They did a lot more for the Spider-Man character than writers have done with Peter Parker in years because of the editorial push.
I wish they brought those series back to as
Me
like
too.
a Peter Parker book for now.
Oh,
That
you had
isn't.
Spider Shadow, but
I mean, Spider Shadow, Life Story, like you get miniseries.
right. And I would like, and
Web
I
of
honestly,
Spider-Man.
Web of Spider-Man was kind of a dud, but I'm hoping we can get more kind of dynamic Peter Parker stories once he comes back. I think like it's not the amount of Peter Parker titles is we have the symbiote one that's like taking place in the 80s, but that has Greg Land on the book, so not a whole lot of people are going to be reading it.
But it's Peter David too.
Yeah. And it's Peter David, but it's also Greg Land, and I can't stand the look of Greg Land's artwork, so I can't even look at it. If you put anyone else on that book, I probably would have been on it by jump. And I
want Dope Omnibus to be my assumed name.
Dope Omnibus. You know what? I think that would be a dope name right there. JMS Spider-Man is really good. I think that is the best complete run that we've had in a very, very long time of ASM.
Here, real quick. Dope Omnibus. The secondary sister channel of our friend BJ Kicks.
Yep. We got Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was a great read. Honestly, every issue made me cry. So with the exception of One More Day, yeah.
Which is weird given our topic later on.
Given our topic. So I'm really pushing for Savage Avengers this week. And then on the flip side, if we're gonna kind of stay in that realm of Doctor Strange, where is it? I read Strange Academy this week as well. I'm just trying to find it.
I need to hop on that book too. I'm on Death of Doctor Strange, but not Strange Academy.
The biggest reason why I liked this book, or the biggest reason why I'm liking this book even more, is you have the same creative team on every issue, which you don't see that in comics ever.
No,
when I mean
really.
ever, I mean it's like you're getting this, and then you're getting Eternals by Kieran Gillen and Assad Ribic. Those are the only two issues in Marvel that have not had a fill-in artist, like at all. Yeah. So I really like this book, and right now we are dealing with a lesson being run by a brother Voodoo, who of course he's like your dark arts professor. He's teaching you how to time travel and deal with like kind of darker themes. So all the students go back, and they're supposed to be learning about all these different time zones and like why time travel sucks, right? And the whole like kind of like, okay, if you time travel, remember in this timeline, Sabretooth is a good guy. In a past timeline, Sabretooth is not a nice person. So like know what kind of timelines you jump. Like this is the world we're living in, kind of taking a jab at the X-Men. Like we don't have anything left. But this is such a fun book, and we kind of got a history lesson on some of the different on like the convolutedness of X-Men, like with Age of Apocalypse, Days of Future Past, and whatever the hell we're in now, which is the Age of Krakoa, I guess, or the Reign of X, or the Dawn of X, or I guess maybe it's just Krakoa at this point. I think we should just call it Krakoan Age. But
yeah.
So everyone's going back in time, and Doyle goes to the future. And he sees him and Emily, but Emily is kind of resentful towards him because he's basically taking his father's shaft in a way. So his dad is Dormammu. So why wouldn't Emily, a nice girl, want to go out with Doyle Dormammu? What is the only thing that he could possibly be insecure about is getting compared to his father. So when he goes into the future and he sees himself just like his father, obviously he's not going to return in the best of moods. Right? Yeah. Correct. So this is basically extending their argument. Meanwhile, Calvin goes underground, see this guy who gives him a magic wish, because why not play like Chamber of Secrets vibes right now? And we're going to be dealing with that more in the next issue. That was kind of a setup, but the main story is between Emily and Dormammu, and I really enjoy their banter and everyone like kind of dealing with these time travels worlds. So if you're not reading this, pick it up. And then we got like a list at the end: time travel in full effect for time travel advisory effect for all time. In 2099, it's like, yeah, because year 2100 is A-okay. Or Days of Future Past, effective immediately for all mutant students. That is like, you know, it's in effect. Advisory is in effect, you know. Zombies, you can't go there, basically. Age of Apocalypse, accepting with faculty/sorcerer chaperone. House of M is no, and don't ask Scarlet Witch.
And don't ask Scarlet Witch. Mm-hmm. So these are like the topics you can and can't talk about if you're a mutant.
Or it's like where you can't time travel to. So you can't time travel to the Ultimate Universe because the caption underneath said, "Not sure this ever existed anyway." And I was like, ooh. Strange Academy is
Miles
going
would
on.
beg to differ, I'm sure.
Right? But anyway,
But
Doyle drops out. He drops
Doyle
out.
drops out. He didn't even try to bargain.
What's up, Sheena? You didn't even try to bargain, right? Yeah, man, it's so great. No more mutants in the chat, right? But I really am enjoying Strange Academy. It is like, it's another one of those sleeper books. I think people were specking on it, but that went down. But honestly, if you're just reading it issue to issue, you're getting enough enjoyment out of it. If you're not reading it, it is super easy to get into, and it's really fun. It's everything that Young Justice should be. If you gave Teen Titans a shot, this is basically what Teen Titans aspires to be. And this came out before Teen Titans, which I heard was ending. So
Teen Titans Academy's ending?
I heard it was ending. I was like,
I
damn.
hope it does, and we just get a classic Teen Titans or even an adult Titans comic.
Right?
It's not Titans United.
It's the Omniverse. So it doesn't matter what time period you do it in. If you can do an Elseworld story with an old man Superman combined with a normal age Superman, you can definitely do a Teen Titans book.
But I would want the Teen Titan. I would want a Teen Titans book to be like in continuity and be like a mainstream Titans book.
Right. Oh no, I would too. But we got Titans United, which is basically the TV show that's on another Earth. What's going on, Rochester Rican? I was actually just on Lamer Frame last week. If you guys want to catch that replay, it was hysterical. Apparently, my drawings suck, and I would have never thought.
Apparently.
Yeah, and I learned straight from Tom King and Rob Liefeld.
Oh, Lord, straight from Tom King.
The two greatest artists of all time. I don't want to hear it. They joke. Magical forms are so cool. We do need a Titans comic.
We do.
See, but not Titans United, written by Caven Scott, who doesn't know a thing about Titans. So,
except from the TV show.
See, Rod agrees with me.
We have a Green Lantern ongoing that I've heard has actually been pretty decent.
I heard it got better too, but I'm so iffy on it because there's no Hal, there's no Kyle, and it's basically the Joe Mulligan show with Jon Stewart and Jessica Cruz and Teen Lantern. And I'm like, I
thought Simon Baz was there too.
And Simon Baz. Just call it Green Lanterns and give us let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. There's a reason why the writer does not like Hal and Kyle for some reason. Like, I'm all for pushing more representation, especially amongst the Green Lanterns where that's like supposed to happen. But we've had books before where it's Green Lanterns and Hal Jordan and Green Lantern Corps. We've had a Green Lantern side story, and we've had a Hal Jordan story, right?
I mean, maybe those are just like the less fleshed out characters in comparison to Hal and Kyle. Because has John ever really been like the sole Green Lantern like Kyle was after Hal? Or was Hal even the sole Green Lantern?
I know John had a stick where he was, but
okay. Still, it's been a while.
They're grooming Joe and Jessica, I guess, for this, but I think Jessica's had a great role in comics so far, and I really don't think there's a reason there's a hierarchy in the Green Lantern Corps. That way, there's some order to their organization, right? O is basically a space organization. So obviously there's order, and some are going to be more interactive. Where is Hal right now? We haven't even gotten those answers. Like, I'm not pissed that he's on the book. I'm pissed that it's like, okay, we just don't care about this character.
We don't even know where he is right now.
We don't care about Kyle, right? So to me, it's like, okay, it's not that you're saying I don't care about legacy characters. It's I don't care about these two in particular, and I really want to know where they are and why they're not in this book. Yeah. They have no business not being in a comic book right now.
Well, like even somebody like Barry Allen, he's not doing anything, but we at least know where he's at.
Right.
We at least know what he's doing. We don't know where Hal is. We don't know where Kyle is. And there's no clue to point us in a direction.
Right. So it's like, at this point, is it gripe to forcefully push representation and putting these characters forward, or is that creative? And I really hope it's a creative purpose, not we're just shunning these two characters simply because of what they look like. I can't help. Yeah. I can't help it. But yeah, literally, I've never said this in my life, but Guy Gardner, Kyle, and Hal need more love in comics right now.
Yeah.
And you can achieve that in two separate books.
Guy Gardner could have one heck of an arc if you'd let it.
Right? And we don't even have a Green Lantern on the Justice League book that no one's reading. And that's sad.
Well, we have Naomi.
She's not a Green
Just
Lantern.
kidding. But Bendis is actually leaving that book in March. So, and
Oh, yeah, good. I'll be buying it again. Great.
who could take that over? I mean,
Give
I don't.
me.
They're not going to give Tom Taylor a book with that much, or he's not going to take a book with that much editorial oversight.
Tom Taylor won't.
Philip Kennedy Johnson, maybe. Like they might go to him about it at least. Who knows if
he's writing Superman right now, so I don't think he would. See, that's the thing is DC's so spread thin right now. But anyway, what did you read this week, Bryce?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I'm still trying to figure out the conversation we had the other day, and we were talking about our Star Wars starting five.
We were. We did a lot of starting fives the other day, but no, I read Wonder Woman 782 by Becky Cloonan, Michael Conrad, and who was the artist for this issue?
That was Makira Takara.
Okay, and of course the wonderful Tamara Bonvillain as the main colorist for this book.
You can find out by reading Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes that he's told before Future State somehow survived Future State and is going into the. Okay, I don't care anymore. If you want to read it, I guess, but I'm not. Tell me all about it.
Gold Lantern.
Yeah, there's a Gold Lantern. He's in the future.
Oh man.
He was in. Yeah, I didn't care for Bendis' Legion, and I love Bendis.
Bendis, I don't know. I'm torn on him because some of his stuff that he's done in the past is some of my favorite comics that I've ever read.
Mm-hmm. Daredevil.
But then I read Justice League and I'm like, I don't care about this. What is this?
Yeah, I was like, this is the worst Justice
League
I've read.
This issue of Wonder Woman was very middle of the road for me. Like it was entertaining, and we found out more about those Wonder Women that were in the last issue that were attacking the plane that Diana and Boston were on.
Yes.
And so that's pretty much the entire first little bit, just an action sequence. We find out that they're made of glass, which I thought was really interesting. And then, they keep going on this quest to take Siegfried's sword back to Sweden. If you guys remember Siegfried from the Afterworlds arc, he was a great character, and it seems like they're not done with him based on some stuff in this book. Dr. Psycho is getting more famous. He's going by Cisco now and is trying to feed the world his... almost like a cult. Seems a lot like a cult. But they deliver the sword, and then we get more about the Wonder Women. Steve and Diana finally get in contact, and we get introduced to this new villain, the Image Maker.
Right.
Who seems a lot like Mirror Master.
But he's the Image Maker, which I was like, that's awesome. Like, can he please take my photos?
Can he take my photos?
I was like, yeah, I would get all the good angles. I was like, come on, can I just do a photo shoot and hire the guy? I don't care if he's gonna be in jail. We can definitely just green screen that.
He's the type of guy that J. Jonah Jameson would hire to replace Peter Parker to get pictures of Spider-Man.
What's up, Fable? By the way, if you guys missed the Play and Fable show on Sunday leading to the Pop Culture Philosophers Rock and Robbie Live, Fable, Big Herb, Stefan, Missing, Link, and a special guest, Tony Oldwolf. They had a fantastic show. Definitely catch that replay on IGTV. Everyone in the PCP Army Bad Batch, their links are in the description below. Check them out. Great people. And you'll never miss a day without content with us.
There you go. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it was entertaining. But I don't know. This book's just kind of been middle of the road for me story-wise the past couple of issues. The art's been fantastic, but I don't know. I guess I'm waiting for something a little more epic like we got at the start of this run. And it looks like we're building up to that. I'm excited to see how this Image Maker stuff plays out. But, yeah, I mean, it was an issue of Wonder Woman.
I think you can definitely pull some, Mystique level, BS with that. I was like, that can be, really dark.
True. Yeah.
Because if you look at the way that the Wonder Women were drawn, their actions, it was like they were almost zombified, but it's, not so possessed. So I was like, they almost felt real. So it's imagine what you can do and what you can do to Diana, what you can do to Trevor, how they're building him. And I was like, there's just so much you can do with this. And then Dr. Psycho just being the TV announcer. I was like, this is great.
Yeah. He's almost becoming like a cult leader.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Psycho is like Jimmy Fallon at night. It's like you're going to him for one purpose, and that's just to laugh your ass off and not believe a thing that they say.
But not I don't know. With this whole with the image maker, you kind of get a little bit of Mystique stuff. I kind of get like if Mystique and Multiple Man had a
Right.
like I feel like they could go that route where these are like projections of him that he's distorted.
Right. Oh, Multiple Man. I miss that guy. Where is he on Krakoa?
He was an X Corp, but
Did that book finish?
I don't know. I stopped reading it after a couple issues. It was good for the last 4 pages, and it hooked me for the next issue. And then after a couple of issues, I'm like, I can't keep reading 28 pages of boring for 4 pages of awesome.
Right. 100%. And let's bring in our special guest, my favorite hockey fan, artist of Excalibur that just wrapped up this week. One of my favorite books on the shelf, Marcus Toe.
Hey everyone.
What's up, Marcus? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good. Yeah,
I mean, got your hardcover. Looks nice.
Yeah.
Character designs.
Oh, I haven't even seen it yet.
It's really.
What does it look like?
Let me pull it out. So,
nice.
It's pretty skinny. It's basically like the Ten of Swords, just a lot smaller. But what I really liked is they had like all the costumes in the back. So it's like at the end you can just like flip through them. And now I'm like then you have like all of them, like everything that was in that issue, and it was like.
I can feel bad because I when I did those sketches, I did them pretty rough. They weren't tight at all.
No, none of them were that kind of printed out onto like those sketch covers. I was like, yeah, they were all like loose drawings, but I think that was the purpose.
Yeah.
Colossus. I just love looking at all these outfits, but it's great, and I can't wait to cover it on Archives as soon as I can convince everyone else to push that before we do Ten of Swords.
Awesome.
So Excalibur wrapped up. Marcus,
Yeah.
What was it like being on the book? Hindsight.
Oh, it's someone put this up, but I really believe it too. But in a lot of ways, I find being on a project that I cared so much about, when it's over, you kind of have to take some time to mourn the loss of what was for a little bit. So I'm still kind of thinking about it, or just kind of coming to grips about it. But no, it was really awesome. As I said in my Twitter post, ever since Red Robin, I have been wanting to be a part of a long run for a long time, because I really truly believe that that's how you build a fan base, is to have a creative team on a book for a long period of time, because there's a certain kind of relationship you have with the audience that I think is built upon that.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could not agree more with that. We were just talking about Strange Academy and how it's still Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos all this time.
Yeah.
So 100%. So for everyone who did not read this issue, kind of spoilers already, what kind of happened in it from your perspective going in to all of this?
What happened? Just specific issue? I don't know. The last few were pretty much a blur in a lot of ways. I had a hard time with deadlines. I don't know. This whole year, as I'm sure with everybody with COVID and everything, has been kind of a blur. So doing these pages was more of a it was a way to kind of have some sort of regularity in my life. And the last issue, I kind of just, I don't know, tried to do whatever I could to, I guess, just because I knew I would never have another chance at making it better. Because a lot of times I always like to think about how when I draw things, and then I'll always have another issue to, just in case if I screw up, I'll have another issue to make it better. But this one we didn't. So, I played it pretty strict to, did one page at a time, and then so when I finished the issue, I'd finish on the last page, because sometimes some artists like to jump around easier pages and stuff like that. So I kind of, played it pretty straight, and yeah, I mean, I know that Teeny wanted. What was interesting was that it actually was going to have a different ending, but last minute the editorial was like, no, we can't have that, and I had to like kind of pause on everything until the writing was rewritten, and because it was supposed to, are we doing spoilers here?
We are.
I mean assuming you guys both read it, right?
I did.
You did.
I have not.
Bryce
By the
is still
time,
catching up.
It's all good.
I'm still catching up.
But this isn't a spoiler that's gonna like ruin the book for him.
I forget easily when it comes to comics.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, we'll just say that there was a bit of a different ending and a couple of different things that editorial kind of wanted to pull back on. So we did change kind of last minute. So deadlines were a little bit tight by the end of it, but I think we hit it out of the park.
Oh yeah, you guys did. And the thing that I really enjoyed most about this series is the cast of characters you guys worked with. But also is like again, like you said earlier, you have like you guys were the biggest consistent team. Like we had Percy and Cassera for a while, but then we eventually got a different artist. That's probably because Cassera's doing Wolverine. But kind of talk about your experience as a whole, getting to know these characters and getting to build that relationship with them.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously the story revolved mainly around Betsy, so she's the character that I felt most at home with. Teeny wrote a great story about kind of a person trying to find their way, and all the weight of expectations upon them, especially with all the things that had happened, kind of all the trauma that happens with the person. And now they're starting kind of a new life, and what does that mean? And what does that, how does a person kind of come to grips with all of that that has happened, and then all the responsibility coming forward? So, I'm a person that hates responsibility, so I do understand. I like that kind of drama that a person can have just being by themselves, and I think that's one of the things that I really felt like we achieved in that run. I know that we weren't able to do much with some of the side characters that a lot of people wanted. I know people wanted to see more Gambit, more Jubilee, and more Richter. We touched on Richter a little bit about some of the things that obviously as a mutant that couldn't control his powers and what it meant to have someone help him discover who he is, with Apocalypse helping him with his powers. There is a connection there that I really thought was an interesting twist in a lot of ways. But I think that's why those characters matched what the theme of Excalibur was going to be, was because it was finding out your way in a new situation and building a life after all the crazy stuff that happened, like building a new life. And then by the end of it, I thought Betsy really fell into her. That's why we didn't want her to have visual cues to Psylocke. So that's why we kept the butterfly away from any of the images until the last one. It's almost like a cue that she's it's not trying not to hold back anymore. She is finding the way she is, and I felt like we were trying to use visual cues early on, and then later on to really kind of hammer those aspects home.
So, what is your perspective on someone like Saturnine, who really we just figured out her kind of self-discovery and her overall role in this?
Here's the thing. It's these characters are, just because Excalibur's done, it doesn't mean that these characters aren't going to be used. Like all of this was planned, other than the small things, so certain small things of where they wanted. But Saturnine's going to be back, and like her role in how she has solidified herself as a pivotal part of the other world. You know, I know I'm being kind of like
Vague.
vague, but yeah, I mean, like there were some revelations of how really just how pivotal she is
Right.
in it, and I thought that you know it was an interesting twist, and as you know, crazy as Hickman is, I'm sure his beautiful mind has, you know, remember that point of information that will probably come back a little bit later. Who knows? Like I'm not privy to this information.
Right.
But,
And that's the thing is like reading Hickman. It's like you got to pay attention to everything. Or if you know Hickman, you're kind of obliged. You know what you're getting into with the Hickman book. If you don't know who Hickman is, he will grab anything like from thin air and make it like important. Like who would have thought retconning Myra McTaggart to reboot the X-Men universe would work, you know? So that's only Hickman.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
While still taking it back to Giant Says X-Men. So I'm like, that's awesome.
And on top of that too, I mean, the idea that people think that, you know, something happened with Hickman, it's like we all knew early on that he had a 2-year plan and then more than that afterwards. So there was like every writer had the ability to adjust based on the parameters that were set and that to wiggle into this, you know, this tapestry that Hickman kind of put together, and that there's going to be more later. And it's been such a success, obviously, that you would think that there would be no reason why they wouldn't just keep following it till it doesn't work. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. I mean, they had planned that they had never expected, or they had never really kind of wanted Excalibur to go past. I think we were supposed to end at 24, but just for the story wise, they were like, well, let's give it a little bit more air to like some space to wrap it up. So that was and that was all Teeny's kind of push to give it a little bit more of an ending that we wanted.
100%. And I think this is probably like one of my favorite works that Teeny is definitely my favorite that you've done. So that leads me to ask you if you can talk about it. What's next?
I'm working on Shang-Chi now. I'm jumping on after DK1 is done with his run.
Awesome.
So I'll be on it for the foreseeable future.
Awesome with Jen Luen
That's
Yang.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you because I've been really I enjoyed the first season of it. I really did, where he first met his sister and they kind of reunited and we got more of that family aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit I followed the newer season, but I'm not as caught up, but I definitely will be getting back into it.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, these are things that I don't even know how you guys read as many as you already do read. So
I said 2 books this week.
I've had to trim a lot down recently, but I ended up having to quit my job to keep up with school. So finances have been slimmer, but I try to keep up with as much as possible.
No, it's cool. Well, you know, school's obviously important, so you gotta lean into, you know, your priorities.
Right.
Unfortunately, a degree's not going to get itself.
I mean,
yeah. Look, I'm not a studious person personally. I spent my student loans on comic books, and obviously my career path went a certain way.
I mean, yeah, of course, ended up working out in your favor. It's almost like you knew.
Professor X called him up one day and said, "Hey, man, come." I mean, this was a lighter week for me. I think I had 14 on my poll this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're only talking about 8 of them. I don't know. We usually don't cover indies on here. So, this was a heavier indie week, and I had to pick up books from the previous week, plus like stuff that came, like King of Spies came out, and everyone told me it was really good. So I was like, oh, I gotta get the King and Spies then. So
we don't cover indies on here at all. I know I try to sneak like Firepower by Kirkman and Samney in there every now and then.
There's a selection.
Well, when I do my next one, I'll have to send you guys copies so you guys can, take a read and see what you think.
100%.
Oh, shoot,
100%.
for sure, man. Awesome.
That would be great. So, have you seen Spider-Man yet, Marcus?
Tonight, I'm going after
Tonight.
this. I'm gonna go after we're done this.
Oh, what time's your movie?
Enjoy,
10:30.
10:30.
10:30. 10:30. There you go. It was great. It was great.
So here's the funny part of this. I was out with some friends, and one of the people who doesn't know I do comic books, who doesn't know I do comic books, he was trying to bust my balls and try to I'm gonna spoil Spider-Man for this guy, and he tried to tell me that Spider-Man dies in the movie. I'm like, well, first of all, even though I don't know the movie, it would never happen. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing but I just nodded at him like, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like, especially if you pay attention to news too, where they did announce his new trilogy.
God,
it's like,
yeah.
It's like, how are you gonna say he dies right after a new trilogy gets announced?
It's just one of those kind of people that want to make some, I don't know, bust
stir
my
the
balls
pot a little bit. That's exactly what people do.
But without really knowing how to do that properly.
And it's fair. Well, Marcus, I'm looking forward to seeing your reaction when Batman shows up.
Oh no! I
actually don't care that much about spoilers, to be honest with you.
That's fair. I know we have people in the chat that do those, so I'm.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about it at all.
No, that's all right. The only thing I will have to say, if Shadow shows up before Knuckles in the new Sonic movie, no, I have no idea.
I still have to see the first Sonic movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was gonna put that on tonight. I was like, let me put that on just for nostalgic purposes.
I was never a Sonic guy growing up. I was always either I was Super Mario. I was Super Mario, and I was a PlayStation guy, so I was like Spyro all the way.
Oh, dude, I did everything as a kid. I was into Zelda, Kirby, Mario, Sonic, all that stuff. I just didn't get into Pokemon. That was about it. Sorry, Marcus, but I didn't get into Pokemon.
Oh, I don't know anything about Pokemon.
Oh, I thought you were into Pokemon, or at least most people are. Most people are like, who's your favorite Pokemon? I'm like, I had a strict relationship with Star Wars at the time, and I didn't want to feel like I was cheating on anyone, so we're just staying exclusively there.
I didn't know my Harry Potter house was until last year. So,
what house are you, Bryce?
Huh?
What house are you?
Ravenclaw.
Gryffindor for me. I went to the Warner Brothers studio lot and they put the hat on me, the whole 9.
You did the whole 9 yards. I took the test and I got Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I could see that.
I took the test and then I saw this thing. It's other characters from other favorite media of mine, what their house would be. Mm-hmm. And so a huge indicator for me was Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender was Ravenclaw, and it's well, that's a big indicator probably.
Yeah.
Sokka was probably one of the most underrated characters in all of TV. I'm just gonna put that out there.
He was my favorite. Him.
I don't doubt that. I mean, I agree with you.
I mean, other than Momo was never underrated, but I love Sokka. I think Sokka was probably the one that I just looked at and I was like, you got some heart to you.
He was the heart, though. He really was the heart.
He was, especially when there's an episode of him messing up every 2 seconds. He kicks a pebble and it's you of bad luck. It comes back and hits you in the head. That's worse luck than the cabbage guy.
I don't know if anybody had worse luck than him. But actually, no, in Korra, he ended up starting a multi-million-dollar empire, it seemed like.
I was going to say the guy who has worse luck is the My Legs dude from SpongeBob.
Oh, my gosh. But no, I was always a fan. I was always a fan of Toph, though. I don't know what it is about blind ninjas.
You and Caroline. Oh, yeah, that's
Toph and Matt Murdock. It's just...
What about Hawkeye, Marcus? You caught up on Hawkeye?
I haven't watched anything yet, but I've always been one of those kind of guys that waits until it's all over and then I just watch the whole thing. That's what I did with WandaVision. That's what I did with Loki. But I mean, I'm pretty good because even though I'm on Twitter a lot, I don't actually read Twitter much. I just look at. I just kind of filter through a bunch of stuff and then just look at my DMs or messages or whatever. So
I don't know how to Twitter, so
The worst one for me is probably TikTok.
I
TikTok's
stayed off.
horrible about spoilers.
I stayed off of that. Like as soon as Spider-Man the trailers came out, I was like, no, we're not doing this. Like, I'm done. I'm taking a break. But
Taking a break.
I was like, yeah, no. Well, I've been like, I don't know, because we used to do TikTok on this channel. I was like, I haven't posted in a good part of 3 months, and I'm happy. Except I did want to like come back and do a series, kind of like, okay, if you were to do like I always like the starting five, or like if you can put like certain characters in like certain like roles, you know, like side jobs like for X-Men characters, you know.
Yeah, TikTok, you kind of have to really curate your stuff very well. Well, I mean, most social media you do if you want to build an audience, but
Yeah.
I have a hard time with social media. Part of me just wants to disappear off social media, to be honest with you.
Right. No, definitely. It's just like the comment section just
Yeah.
gets like incredibly ridiculously toxic because like you can't please everyone, and the people that you can't please are the most vocal about it. But then they'll meet you at a con, or like they'll see you at a con, and be like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan," and then you'll just like.
I mean, you have that in general, though. That's as much perks as you get with as many perks as you get with the internet, you get just as many drawbacks, and that's unfortunately one of the drawbacks.
I agree with you. And social media is good because I do get to I do like interacting with fans if that's any indication, and I do really like because there's so many people that you don't. This is a great kind of a different age where you have a lot of friends that live not where you live, so you never get to see them. The only interaction you have is through Twitter, or Facebook, or whatever. So that's in a way that's all you kind of. Sometimes that's all you have, right, to connect with people.
Right, unless somehow we miraculously make a trip up to wherever you're located, or wherever you're ever in the DC area.
Well, I'm a Toronto guy, so if Toronto Comic Con Fan Expo is usually my kind of like home show that I usually go to, pre-COVID. I don't know, I haven't been to one since, but I try to hit up as many East Side shows as I can, like East Coast shows, because it's just easiest.
Right.
But
we got a buddy that raves about the Toronto Fan Expo, so that is a bucket list con for me, sort of.
Well, you guys should come and then go to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
Oh shoot.
We'll get to learn all about the
right across the street. It's like right across the street from the convention.
There we go. We can see all of the great highlights of the Penguins beating the Capitals, and even though the Capitals were more of a newer team, but all the good memories of my Penguins. We can just go and do that, and that'll be a whole lot of fun. And
how did you become a Penguins fan from the DC area?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Oh, you're from Pittsburgh. Okay.
So I bleed black and gold, like Steelers, Penguins. I would say the Pirates if they had a baseball team, but I feel like if you've ever watched Major League, they're getting ready to relocate to Florida at this point.
Well, I mean, Florida's relocating back up to Canada. Do you see the Tampa Bay Rays are sharing home games with Montreal?
I did not know that.
Yeah, because Tampa Bay is like, no one goes to those games, even when they're like tops of the division.
Right.
And see, that's baseball is where, like, baseball is probably my sport. Granted, I'm a Reds fan. We do have one of the more loyal fan bases.
Sure.
I didn't know you guys had a fan base.
Outside of like Ohio, West Virginia, and Kentucky, we really don't.
You guys have our boy Joey Votto.
That is true. That is, and thank you for letting us borrow him for this long.
I can't say that I dislike the Reds at all. I mean, I'm a Jays fan, so anyone in the AL East are just good for me. But now we're devolving into sports talk. Sports talk radio.
Hey, we're kind of turned into this is. We have a buddy. We have two people in like our group chat. It's like one's a Yankees fan, one's a Red Sox fan, and it's just not fun when they're playing. I feel like adding you to the mix would not make the pod any better, but.
Well, I mean, I love baseball, but I don't keep up with baseball. It's too hard to keep up with baseball. I have one team, which is the Jays, since obviously '93. Angels fan, okay.
You guys had my boy Batista for a little bit. You know, with drugs and everything. But
Oh my gosh.
when he was a pilot, he was like the size of a toothpick. He was like paper thin, like a not like a Big Mac. That's how small this guy was. He goes to Toronto, all of a sudden he's like jacking every ball out of the park. I was like, come on now, it's not the wind at this point.
There's no wind in the sky, though.
Yeah.
Baseball and college basketball are the sports that I keep up with, probably. And I'm a big Duke basketball fan, so
Nice.
that's probably my most controversial thing I'm going to say on this channel. If anybody follows,
I kind of after the Jordan years, I kind of fell out of basketball a lot. You know, like I grew up during that era where literally like you could bulldoze through a guy and no fouls were called, and all of a sudden they transitioned out. Not to say that it wasn't good, because that was way too much. Like I'm surprised there weren't more career-ending injuries at that.
Bill Lambier, Dennis Rodman, for example.
Oh man, Bad Boy Pistons, even from the Isaiah Thomas era, you know,
Right.
like pre all that, and then I think right after the time when that stuff happened with the Indiana Pacers and Jermaine O'Neal and Ron Artest and stuff like that. That's about the time where I kind of fell off. But
we climbed up into the stands.
Yeah. Now I don't know what's a foul and what isn't a foul, and half the time I'm just like, you know what, I'm just so frustrated watching it because it's like too much.
It's all right. If your name's Trae Young and you're driving down a lane, I guarantee you're getting a foul.
Yeah. That's why I don't watch NBA. But no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like I grew up watching like old Christian Laettner highlights.
Yeah.
So I got like that.
Christian Laettner. I haven't heard that name in a long time, man, but yeah. I mean, I know Duke fan. Obviously, you would.
Oh man, I'm diehard over here. Like my dad came in a North Carolina hoodie one day when I was probably about 15. I almost kicked him out of the house.
Oh, I think the best thing we had back to the old days was Robin Lopez and his mascot fighting, but that's a different story. But he's such a big comic book fan. I guarantee you, in his mind, he thought he was fighting the Sinister Six.
Yeah, both Lopez's are big comic book fans. I met them at I think I met one of them. I think it was Brooke Lopez I met in New York Comic Con. He was sitting with my friend Todd Knock.
Oh, Todd is awesome.
Yeah, sick.
Todd is awesome.
And now we've come full circle.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there is a good amount of comic book fans. Well, I mean, I always find that sports and comic books should, coincide to live in harmony. But so there's, as an artist, I'm one of the rare people that likes sports and comics. That is an artist in my industry, at least.
A lot of times nowadays, and especially like during the image boom in the 90s, it was comics and music that were like this. I don't know from experience. Obviously, I wasn't born until 2000, but just some stuff I'd seen.
I know Jim Lee's a Cowboys fan.
Is he? I don't know anything about.
I mean, I met him at Baltimore, and like the week before, he like did this thing with the Dallas Cowboys in their locker room, and
disappointing.
So I don't think I doubt he's a fan. I bet you he was. It was just a. I guess I shouldn't say this. I was gonna just say it was just a marketing gimmick, but I mean,
it's either way, it's disappointing to hear.
I mean, DC's kind of turned into a marketing gimmick sometimes, though.
I like DC. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
$8 Joker book. Come on.
That is fair.
An $8 Joker book, and it's not even a Joker book. It's a Jim Gordon story.
Gotham Academy Gotham Central season 3.
It's like I'm paying for an anniversary, like a character's 80th anniversary, like every week when Joker comes out.
I mean, you'll have that. They gotta make their money to stay in business to give us more books. It all funds itself. It seems.
I don't have any comment on it. I mean
Mark is like, I should have never brought that up anyway. I'm trying to think like who else is a sports fan. I'm like, but none comes to mind.
I can name a few, but still relatively rare.
Right.
Because if you're at a see, this is how I see it. Because at a convention, right, a lot of times, you're kind of in these social situations, and I hate the small talk when it comes to just like, oh, what are you working on now? Or like, oh, yeah, your stuff is great. I hate talking about work. I love talking about crafting comics, but when you're kind of in a social situation in a con, I'd rather talk about more casual things like what's
Right.
going on with Duke, or what stuff like
Right.
that.
Just
And
talk about stuff that does not get your mind like zoned in.
well, I also sometimes I kind of fear talking about work because
Yeah.
sometimes you can get into a situation where your opinions can cause some problems. So I just rather avoid it because I'm not there to like say my opinions. I want everyone to have fun. And I only share those opinions, true opinions, with friends that I know aren't going to blab it on the internet or something like that. And I know we're on a podcast or like a video cast thing right now, and I'm supposed to tell you my thoughts on stuff, but you got to know I hold a lot of stuff back and a lot of stories that I have because it can go bad in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
Right, and we don't want you to ever do anything that'll get you in trouble. That's why whenever we do like Creators Corner, I always say if there's something you don't want to talk about and I ask a question, just say I can't talk about it. We don't have to.
Yeah, well, of course I know that.
But if you say I can't talk about it,
I have a theory though. I have a theory that I did get into a bit of trouble during the New 52, which kind of colored my situation at DC for a long time, but I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but
right.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you definitely, especially in the world of media and entertainment.
Yeah, the alcoholic drink is good.
Yeah.
I like to ask a bunch of random questions, to be honest with you. I have a list of them usually.
All right, Marcus, if you could have a starting 5 of Star Wars characters, who would they be?
I'm not a big Star Wars fan.
I can tell by your
I was
background.
gonna say he's got a Star Trek background. We're asking him about a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
I'm not big on Star Trek, so may the force be with you all.
Hey, everyone should like what they like, and that's all I care about.
Right,
But
exactly.
I do love Star Trek. But I'm not a big fan of the new ones. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think.
I've been meaning to get into it. I might have to do I'm on a break from school right now, so I might have to do a next gen binge or something.
If you want to, I've heard because your next gen is very of its time, and it's kind of hard to watch the first season.
That's fair.
Best one probably because it worked well with my girlfriend is DS9. Start with DS9. It actually has a really good contained story. And you already know who Picard is, so that's all you really need to know.
Yeah.
And then you could see if you wanted to move backwards and if you want.
Yeah, I know, like, with stuff that came out, because Next Gen was early 90s, right? Like, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
I know a lot of stuff that came out during that time period was very of its time. I remember something specific that comes to mind is the original Ninja Turtle movies.
Okay.
That I grew up on those. I watched them, like, religiously, and I go back and watch them now. Like, this is probably some of the most, like, especially like the turtles themselves. I'm like, this is some of the most 90s stuff I've ever seen, and I love it.
I love it. Well, I mean, I loved it from Jump, because that was exactly my time period, right? Like I think the first movie came out in what, like 87 or something, or 88 or something. I think I was 88. If it was 88, I was like 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I remember really vaguely going to the theater to watch this, and all I remember was kind of dark and scary, but it was cool. But what traps it in that era is 100% the dialogue. Right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I love nostalgia and all that, but I can be the first one to tell you how bad that those 80s or 90s Ninja Turtles cartoons were. They were so bad, unwatchable now. And I loved them as a kid. Unwatchable now. The best one is actually the early 2000s one, I think. If you've ever seen it.
I think I've seen a little bit of it, yeah. But like I was even watching Spider-Man 2 earlier, which is early 2000s, and it still feels very
The best Spider-Man movie. I just wanted to point that out real quick.
Into the Spider-Verse
Next to
exists.
No Way Home, but no,
Into the
I'll take
Spider-Verse
Spider-Man
exists.
2 over the Spider-Verse.
But no, like even like the Raimi movies, they're timeless in their own right, but they feel very early 2000s.
You know what the hilarious part of the Spider-Man 1 of the Raimi Spider-Man was the Flash Thompson. Now dude looks crazy old in that, right? To be in high school. But what they wore was 100% like all those kind of guys wore when I grew up in high school. So when I see kind of like those puka necklaces and all that stuff, it was like, man, that was just 1998, like so hard. Anyway, but yeah.
I mean, and then Spider-Man 3 has just transcended everything, being the pinnacle of meme culture. So I mean, who knows what's gonna happen there? Like,
Still better than anything Andrew Garfield was in, so I'll take it.
we're not gonna get into this right.
I'll get into it. I don't care.
I didn't have a problem with any of the Andrew Garfield ones personally either. I just watch stuff now. I don't even have an opinion half the time.
It's the most unathletic dunk I've ever seen, especially for someone with superpowers. That's all I got. Well, Marcus, I hope you enjoy the movie, man.
Well, thank you very much. I will probably not post anything about it. So, you can ask me next time. Anyway, so yeah, I'll I gotta get ready for the movie. But thanks for having me on, and
always, man.
Yeah, thanks for reading Excalibur.
Always.
On to Shang-Chi. Remember that.
On to Shang-Chi, and you have our support as always.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
See you later, Marcus. Enjoy the movie, man.
See ya.
Read Excalibur, guys. It's great. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I think that is actually one of my favorite Teeny Howard books that has come out.
Oh yeah.
We got Spider-Man 3 is my favorite as a kid. Watch it 100 times. We're not talking about Spider-Man right now. We got a few more books to talk about. Bryce, how many do you have left?
I have one left.
All right, let me breeze through a few real quick, and then you can get to your one. I'll do two, and then you can do the one. And actually, I have three left. Yeah, I got three left. Yeah. All right, so let me do. Let's see. Let's do Wonder Girl number 6. This is by Joelle Jones and an artist named DeLuca. So Joelle Jones has kind of been taking a break from drawing. She did some of the last issue, but a lot of it felt like Mellow. Mellow's not even on here, so we get yet another artist shift. And we are furthering our adventure where Yara Flores, but also we're getting more of the story going on back on with the Themyscira with Artemis and not Donna, but Cassie. Okay, so Yara is cooped up and she escapes, and that's where we are. And we get to see her in her armor from Future State. It was fun. I liked it, and this felt more set up for the next issue than it did anything else. And it's just, how does she get to Olympus? It's just that story. So it's just a weird kind of crazy adventure. If you like Yara Flor, pick it up, read it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Yara Flor, you're reading this already.
Right. I would say the biggest thing to get you to read Yara Flor is Yara Flor is a very personable character, but it's not forced. Like, Yara Flor is the kind of character that will walk around in like a hoodie and sweatpants and like will be your best friend. So if you want that combined with the powers of Wonder Woman, I would read it. So that's Wonder Girl number 6. I really enjoy this. Not a lot happened. So I'm not really going to rave into it. Not going to give a big deep dive in it. But what I will talk about, staying on the DC side, which this was a contender for my pick of the week. This was probably my second favorite book that came out this week. And that was Robin and Batman by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Now, when I read the first issue, I really liked all of the interactions between Dick Grayson as a little kid as Robin. So basically like from the Golden Age and everything and the Silver Age. But this is, we got a lot of Alfred moments. And this was on his birthday, carrying over from the last. Batman made him the suit that he did in his diary. And on his birthday, he takes him to the Hall of Justice to meet all the Justice League characters, which was a whole lot of fun. The art is spectacular. This feels 100% like a Dustin Nguyen book. And he meets the Teen Titans, basically. So this was really his first interaction. Bryce's interest is now peaked.
This is definitely going to be a hardcover buy for me when it comes out. And it'll be
so basically the whole premise of the story is while like the Justice League is going on their mission, these guys have to like sit there, but Hawkman is babysitting them, so like Hawkman is not the best babysitter. So
probably doesn't care a lot.
They ended up like boom tubing basically. It's like a boom tube, but before like a boom tube was really a thing because Jack Kirby does not write in the DC universe at the time. But basically they like go to wherever a signal popped up. How would they know that? Because Wally would race in and out of the room and look at the map. So I thought that was a lot of fun. So it was like they get to travel and fight the battles that the Justice League wasn't. And then they came and like Hawkman would like pop in like, oh yeah, we're just playing, right? So like Dick Grayson, this is like really where he got his leadership and his first real impressive move on Troy. So I was like, that's awesome.
There you go.
When he gets back to the Batcave, Batman asks him, he's like, so status report, you know, and he's like goes through everyone on the Teen Titans and like what's weak about them, you know, and like how to beat them, right? What's good, what's bad, and Alfred's like, you suck. And he's like, hey man, I never got a childhood. Why should he? He needs to be prepared for everything if he's going to be in this business with no powers. And I was like, that was kind of a fun way to do that, Bruce. I kind of like that's a dick move to do, but you know, that's blind loyalty right there at its finest. Like that's awesome. That's like Jerry Jones telling all of his players to go win us. It's your year, and it's just not your year. But it's still positive vibes. And
I'm here for the Cowboys slander, but
it is not their year. But I really, really enjoyed that issue.
Go Pack, go! It's their year, I'm telling you. Anyway, yeah, I read Hulk this week. You good, B?
It is not the Packers' year, and I don't care how much green you have in your life. I'm sorry, it's just not working out. You got Hulk.
Anyway, Hulk number 2, speaking of green, written by Donny Cates and drawn by probably one of my favorite artists of all time at this point, Ryan Otley. I never like Ryan Otley could draw anything, and I'd be here for it. But we pick up after the first issue left off, of course, where
we picked up after the 5th issue that hasn't come out yet.
Well, it could be a time skip. You never know. There could be a time jump.
Not on the second issue.
I mean, you never know. You remember what was that book James Herron did? Ultra Mega?
I didn't read it.
That had a time skip after the first issue. I didn't read the first issue, but I know it had a time skip. But no, anyway.
I heard Ultra Mega was terrible.
What's like after every season of Young Justice then? Okay, but no, this from the last issue, if you remember, Bruce Banner is piloting the Hulk as like a starship through different dimensions. He gets past the Avengers, and we see this like other this interdimensional police force. And yeah, Banner just makes the Hulk mow him down. Like he obliterates them. It's like I'm getting like. You can tell Otley is in his element again with this, judging by, the blood.
Oh, yeah, from Invincible.
Oh, yeah, of course. But, yeah, it's very action-packed. We get, the dimensional portal that he came through is pulling him back. He knows the Avengers found him. And he keeps trying to up the power. And how does he up the power in this Starship Hulk? He has the Hulk psyche in this engine room, and the more power he gives, the angrier the Hulk gets. So we get stage 2, which is a bunch of monsters. He takes those out pretty easily. Still no luck. Then we move to stage 3, which is giant-sized Wolverine.
Not like an actual like giant-sized Wolverine. Like that's a great pun, but not pun.
Wolverine's huge. Like
I love the classic costume. That was honestly really intriguing to see that costume. I was like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, same here. But this is a very thrilling battle. Hulk ends up taking out Wolverine with his own claw.
Well, he ends up busting his eyeball out first before.
Busting his eyeball out first, but the effort is still in vain. The portal brings Hulk through, but it turns out it wasn't the Avengers. It was an other dimensional Bruce Banner.
Pulling himself out of thin air, basically.
So we're going into the Hulkverse here, it seems.
Yes.
and I'm
And
here for it.
This is
I'm
going to be Donnie's take on the Hulk.
Can you imagine if we get like Savage Hulk, we get Joe Fixit, we get Starship Hulk, we get Devil Hulk from the Immortal Run, and just all of the different Hulks or Bruce Banners or whatever, just in like one place, and this ends up becoming like a Hulkverse event or a Hulkverse like series.
So this is Into the Spider-Verse mixed with Rick and Morty, but through Hulk.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's amazing,
I'm
right?
on board, right? Yeah, let's go. That's dope.
And I mean, Ryan Otley just makes everything better.
Yeah. Oh no,
So
I've been loving this book. I think this is great. And if anyone is like having like reservations of Hulk, I'm like just sit back, relax, and just enjoy it. It's fun.
This is very much, this is like your big blockbuster action book.
Yeah, it's like Berserker in the fact that there's a lot of action, a lot of blood, but it's like there's story to it.
Yeah. It's like if Michael Bay directed a Hulk movie.
Right. It sounded like that other Bruce has pulled or captured other Hulks before that.
And maybe they're still there.
That could be alluding to why everyone is there. Notice how he was missing an eye, so maybe there's like a big Nick Fury moment, and it wasn't
True.
Wasn't because of Goose the Cat.
I would love to see this.
We could see a Spider Hulk. You know what? Well, I don't think Ryan Otley wants to draw Spider-Man ever again. I think his run-in with Spider-Man was very much he didn't enjoy it in hindsight, but still has some contract years. Last book I read, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna repeat that. I read Amazing Spider-Man number 81. This is the crossover. This is by Selena Med, art by Carlos Gomez, who's been a fantastic Spider-Man artist. I think he's coming into his own show with his artwork. Ben Reilly and the Beyond Corporation has to take out the other Spider-Man in this universe, which is Miles Morales, because Miles Morales is using the name Spider-Man, and the Beyond Corporation owns that name, technically. So, they send Ben to go defeat him, and Ben can't because that's like beating up a kid. And he's like, I don't care about the mantle. We had to team up to defeat this other monster, and we're really getting into the sly shit that the Beyond Corporation is pulling. But they give Ben a great life, so he doesn't really question it, but he put his own spin to it. And so we're seeing a lot of like inner conflict with Ben. And him and Miles has met before in an event that you did not read, and that was the clone thing that Nick Spencer did that they wanted you to remember. And I was like, I didn't care for it. I didn't read that part of his run. I hopped off of it. But no one read it. And we get to see Miles in his all new looking horrible costume, and they barely fought. So it's like, you're not going to... They fought for like 2 pages. So this wasn't necessarily the strongest issue for me. I like Saladin Ahmed's art or his writing. But I think that this story was more like, we just want them to meet again and make everything look canon. And everything is kind of like, okay, readers, everything here is going according to plan with your Spider-Verse. Cool. Got it. Good.
I don't understand how this is the treatment we're getting with Spider-Man right now.
I like this story. It's fun, and I enjoy getting to know Ben Reilly's character, but I did not particularly care for this issue. But, I'm excited to see what the Beyond Corporation really has planning, because if you look at, like, the big business side of Marvel, they're all that's there, because Roxxon is in pieces. There really is no S.H.I.E.L.D. The Source Supreme got shut down. Sword's in space, so it's like, what's left? Parker Industries got bought out by the Beyond Corporation. So it was like, is this your next Roxxon? And I'm kind of like.
And then Peter Parker comes back in 10 issues as the Human Spider.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Peter to come back as well. That's Amazing Spider-Man.
Have like the Raimi Spider-Man 1 suit when he's when he's at like doing the wrestling thing.
Right. All right.
That would be cool though.
Let's talk about it. So we are going to move our show to talk about spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home. If you don't like spoilers for No Way Home, you haven't seen it, now is your time to exit. If you have seen it, let's talk about it. Bryce, how'd you like it?
Well, I just want to say again, there will be spoilers. So, just in case you missed the first warning, I'm giving you another warning, but this is your last one. Okay.
So we're not supposed to tell anyone that's still here.
2, 1. I really enjoyed it. It was probably the most fun I've ever had with the Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah.
I
knew everything that was going to happen in the movie.
I had a feeling. I thought
I'm just a really good lawyer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. let's get right into it. The cameo.
Yes.
The
Let's go.
freaking cameo.
Yes.
You guys know we're big Daredevil fans here, and seeing Matt Murdock on the screen. Bobby, we gave you 2 warnings. We gave you 2 warnings. Yeah, I mean, third best Spider-Man movie. It's probably, I don't know, probably fourth on my list at this point. Behind, actually, no, it's third. It's third. It overtook The Amazing Spider-Man for me. So it's probably Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2, No Way Home, The Amazing Spider-Man.
No Way Home, 2, Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, Homecoming, Far From Home, Andrew Garfield.
I've never liked Homecoming all that much.
I liked it better than. I mean, Tom Holland movies are not rewatchable though. That's the thing, is they had a great theater presence in Far From Home and Homecoming. They had a great like theater presence.
Oh, I thought you said Peter.
Ew. They had a great like theater presence.
Yeah.
But they weren't like rewatchable. So like if I was like rewatching Homecoming the other day, I was like, oh, this is not that great of a movie.
Yeah, I honestly, my buddy I was with, I kind of feel bad because I kind of like slapped him whenever Matt Murdock showed up. I was like, oh my gosh, you're doing this. Like, we saw that, like, a bunch of us saw the leaks, but I really didn't believe them because I know how talented Photoshoppers can be now.
Oh no, I didn't really.
But I mean, seeing him show up and then the most, like, with everything that's happened, everything else that's happened this week, it really shows that they're taking their time with this character as they should, because Daredevil is a character that works best when people take their time with him.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. The Daredevil cameo was great. I'm definitely excited to see him hopefully merge into the newest Hawkeye episode, which comes out. Oh, I'll probably be staying up late to watch that.
Me too.
Oh, right. So you can join me and Steph when we always like FaceTime and watch the movie like at the same time. So we're just like, be all mute. Then we're like unmute, be like, oh my God, that happened.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my gosh.
You can join us.
Does Disney Plus have a watch party option?
I wish. Oh my gosh, I wish.
One more scene with him would have been great. Like with like maybe a post-credit scene, but the post-credit scene we got was great.
With the given, I agree. But I wanted to see it happen.
We just know that Matt's here now. Matt's here. And it's only a matter of time.
Happy.
Yeah, Happy was there too, but Matt's here too.
No, like I'm happy. Like I don't care about Happy. Happy, bro, Happy's a... I'm not going to say that word, but Happy's a wimp. Happy's a wimp.
Oh my gosh. But now that we've talked about the cameo, let's talk about the big reveal. Actually, no. You know what? We'll get to that.
The Doctor Strange trailer?
No. We can talk about that later. But I will say this movie really set into perspective the previous 2 Spider-Man movies for me, which have been and for now are still really low down on my ranking. I've never been a fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in his own movies. I've always thought he's been too reliant on Tony Stark.
Yes.
Especially
okay. I thought you meant like the original, like the McGuire movie. I was like, what?
Especially since they don't really get along all that well, at least in recent comic continuity.
Right.
Like at least since Civil War, they have not gotten along like at all. I don't know how much it was before that. I'm still catching up on Spider-Man, but at least since Civil War, they really haven't gotten along at all.
There hasn't been a whole lot of like Marvel interaction outside of Civil War because we went right into Infinity War and Endgame, and it's like there really was no interaction amongst characters.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the comic event, like that, like in Marvel, Peter Parker and Tony Stark don't have that good of a relationship.
Oh.
At least not something that would warrant him being an Uncle Ben type figure.
Well, in Civil War, Spider-Man revealed his identity and then he left because he didn't like it. But I think that was alluding to Jen Walters. I really I really want to see She-Hulk in the MCU. I'm really stoked for that. I mean, we know what's coming, but I really want to see it.
Do I think he was referring to Jen Walters? Maybe. I think he was honestly kind of referring to himself too, because he's a defense attorney and Jennifer Walters, I believe, is a prosecutor. And so they fulfill two different type of roles. But I mean, it could be either one.
Right. Yeah, John Watts did a great movie. You know, not gonna hold him to that. He did a great movie. A lot of people give him shit for his Fantastic Four, but you know what? It was a shitty movie. So
And John Watts didn't do that fantastic. Didn't do the. He's directing the new Fantastic Four for the MCU.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but they had no faith in that
I read that
movie
wrong.
coming out, but now, yeah. Which John Watts, more power to him for dealing with dealing with people basically dragging his name through the mud, because he turned this entire trilogy into an origin story, and it's fantastic.
Right. And just seeing the classic suit at the end, I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. I mean, the weather really looked like it was taking place in Hawkeye, so that leaves me even more to believe that that's what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
I really like just banter back and forth with Doctor Strange. I think that Doctor Strange is really like a big MVP of this movie. And it just showed like how much Doctor Strange has grown now he's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, but as
Wong, baby.
long may he reign.
Wong may he
Is
reign.
that what
Yes.
Wong may he reign? Yes. That sounds Wong to say.
Absolutely.
That sounds Wong.
I mean,
but yeah, I really enjoy the movie. It's actually one of my. I didn't type that. I forgot. I gave you permission.
no, but yeah, I mean, that's having the classic red and blue suit. Oh man, it just. He went from being the one I was the most critical of and the most skeptical about to being the one that I'm the most excited about.
Right, and like that's the thing, is because his Peter Parker never had any struggle, never had anything to him, right? That is like, you're Peter Parker, right? Oh, because you're dating MJ. I got you, right? He wasn't in New York for probably a good chunk of his own movie, both of them in the first two, but now I guess he's becoming more of like that friendly neighborhood, because now he's poor and he can care about it. He has to start getting his life together. And he has that struggle that kind of people can relate to as adults. So, and I think that we're going to be getting the most Peter Parker we've ever had coming forward.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited.
In the college trilogy, too, which to me is prime Spider-Man.
Right.
But, Brandon, you want to talk about the big reveals?
That we saw Rhino and Kraven?
You know what I'm talking about.
Big reveals. Wait, I don't know why, but I'm like blanking on it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so since we're talking spoilers, seeing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire again.
Oh, that big reveal. I was like, yo, okay. Yo.
I screamed when Andrew Garfield showed up, because to me, I feel like he's the one with the most story left to tell, and the one that probably got screwed over the most. Like, Tobey at least had a complete story. Andrew didn't.
Oh,
and
no,
so seeing him again seeing him actually be able to help people again and hearing the road he went down, I want to see Amazing Spider-Man 3 at this point. I honestly really do. And we've got the Sonyverse, we've got the MCU. It potentially could work. Will I think they do it? No, but am I hopeful? Slightly.
Another reveal that we had and a lot of people didn't like is Tom Hardy and Peter Parker will never meet.
Which, again, makes me think Amazing Spider-Man 3 could happen. Because Tom Hardy's Venom is set in the same universe as Morbius. Is it? Or is Morbius in the MCU? I'm so confused about that.
I don't know. It's like Morbius, I think, takes place... I don't know. I want him to take place in the same area, because like they alluded to both characters in the trailer.
They did, because they showed like Andrew's suit in the whole murderer thing in the trailer, and given Andrew's story in No Way Home, you could go that route, or you have Michael Keaton, so you could go the route that he's the Vulture.
Right.
and
I don't
it
know.
being the
It's
MCU.
really interesting.
We'll have to wait and see. But if it is in the Sonyverse and we do have that, then we could still get Amazing
Right.
Spider-Man
Oh, I
3.
love this movie. I really did. I think it's honestly one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
But no, yeah, we're not here to
And I
speculate about
watched
Amazing
it
Spider-Man
twice.
3. That could be another time.
The only thing that like I'm kind of taking away from is how good will that big reveal? Because a lot of this movie is based on nostalgia, so it's like I can't help but to think like if I watch this in 2 years, it's obviously not gonna have
Will
that
it stand the
same.
test of time?
Yeah, like will this movie stand the test of time? And I really hope it does. But
I
that
think it
depends.
will. Sorry, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like I don't know. I think it does. I really do.
I think it will because it can it serves as almost an ending for all three eras. So you can watch
100%.
Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 and No Way Home, or you can watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 and
Right.
No Way Home, or you can watch Homecoming Far From Home and No Way Home.
Right, 100%.
So it's really like you can put this movie wherever. So honestly, I would say that this is the most timeless Spider-Man movie that we're going to get because it spans generations.
Oh yeah, that I agree with 100%. Other than that, other than like them, I saw it twice.
Seeing them all three together too, and like bantering and playing off each other.
It's
We
weird
get to see like each characterization and how similar and different they are. It pretty much answers all the questions that we've had in the debates and everything like that.
Oh, who's the better Spider-Man? Tobey Maguire.
It answers all the debates.
Yeah, and it did.
They're all amazing. Andrew more so than others though, because Toby even made it a point.
That's just a bunch of horseshit because it's not. But we got the Doctor Strange trailer, which basically confirmed that we're getting America Chavez, we're getting Shuma Gorath,
Baron Mordo.
We're getting Baron Mordo back, and I saw hints of Mephisto coming in. I'm
not even gonna say his name. After WandaVision, I will never say Mephisto again until it actually happens.
Oh no, I think it's actually gonna happen. I was the biggest anti-Mephisto believer. Like, you're not gonna see this guy for years, but I think he makes sense now with what they're building.
I do too, especially with like Strange Supreme and everything. We might get a live action Watcher appearance too, with evil Doctor Strange showing up. We might get a live action Watcher.
That would be dope. I think that evil Doctor Strange could very well be Mephisto.
You don't think it's the one from What If?
I don't think What If was canon enough.
Yeah, it is. It explores the multiverse for the first time, really. So we got there's a reason it came after Loki.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm still not ready to believe that yet. I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, you never know. The movie is Multiverse of Madness, so who knows what's going to happen or where it's going to come from.
Right. I could speculate that, but I don't know.
Chris Evans as the Human Torch is coming back. No, I'm kidding. I wish.
Better than Michael B. Jordan Human Torch. Both were terrible. I was like, I didn't have such a shitty Human Torch.
Hey, that Human Torch is my childhood.
Right.
Yeah, Strange Supreme wasn't evil. So, I mean, it really is hard to say, but that seems to be the consensus now, like generally.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't think the way that they brought in that Doctor Strange, like the way they looked at each other, is like they never met before. And I was like, that's the only reason why I don't believe that it's What If. Especially because What If, in my opinion, was a dud, and I don't want to think that that's going to bleed into the live action MCU. So, I mean, it is what it is for those sake and purposes. By the way, you guys, before we head out, we just want to remind you guys, thank you guys all for 500. We're forever grateful. We're ever going to expand our interactions with everybody in this community. And you can catch us live every Monday at 8 o'clock YouTube time. Forgive my voice. I'm kind of catching a cold, trying to get over it at the same time.
Oh boy.
Just got a cold, so my voice is like kind of done for the day, and I'm like, I cannot breathe right now. But anyway, thank you guys for your time tonight. Coming up on the channel, Christ and Infinite Rants, we're doing our top 5 books of the year that we've read. So it's not going to be like single issues or runs from 2021. It's going to be like, what did we read for the first time of 2021? So we're gonna be doing that, dropping that on Wednesday. Thank you so much. And I'm hoping we can plan our 500 giveaway sometime soon and
It's in the
deliver
works.
that out. It's in the works. We need to finalize everything in a date where we can all link up together and do that. But I'll talk it over with. I'll see if we can do. I'll see if we can do something fun on like a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thank you guys. It was a great week to be a comic fan, and it's only going to get better. So,
yes. Have a good one, you guys. Happy Monday. We are out.